Okay, Vanessa, thanks for that. So in the current geopolitical climate, why do you think the reference to theory from the South is so critical?
Well, Eddie, I think it always has been critical, but perhaps now, where there are inequalities which are more deep and profound than ever before, it becomes particularly important. And I am referring to inequalities both within regions and between regions. So yes, there are deep inequalities within cities of the global north. But I would argue that the inequalities between North and South are even more dramatic. And right now we are in a position where the majority of the urban in the world is in the South and in southern cities. And that is where inequalities are making themselves so clearly felt. And this emphasizes the need for a perspective that is grounded in this very different and predominantly unequal world.
Thanks, Vanessa. Ananya, over to you.
Thank you. Ma'am, what can young planners learn from your work? Where can they draw lines of inspiration, applicability across the globe?
I think what has been really useful for me is bringing together practice, which for me has not been so much consultant type practice, but more activist related practice. That is practice as well, along with teaching and pedagogy and along with research and publication. So I would say if young planners are able to combine those in some way, and to span across activities and also to span across disciplines, I think that is incredibly important.
Right. Building on that same idea that you just mentioned, that planning practice, academia, and activism for young practitioners might be like you have to pick one out of the three, but you've seamlessly integrated that over the years of work. How can we then see the three coming together as a mode of practice in itself? Could you elaborate on that?
Well, I believe very importantly in the notion of experiential knowledge. I think one learns by experiencing, by being in a context, in an activity, in the moment. And this has been important in my research, in my activism, and in my pedagogy. And that is really the concept, I think, that brings them together. So actually being in a particular city, a particular kind of settlement, on a day-to-day basis, interacting with people, the way their lives are lived, that is a more profound learning experience than anything one can get from books. And it's why I've always chosen to live here at the tip of Africa rather than anywhere else in the world, because to keep publishing, to keep thinking, to keep writing, you have to be here.
I really like that, Vanessa, that coming from an academic and a hardcore academic saying that the lived experience is much more important than the books. And maybe just the last question, Vanessa, you've mentioned it in a previous interview that the Southern theory and theories from the South are just emerging now. Are there any forthcoming publications from your side that we can look forward to and then young planners can engage with?
Well, it's a little hard to say. We need to. What I've suggested that myself and colleagues are doing is building a planning theory project from the South. So I don't see us as having a formed, final, cast in stone Southern theory. I think it's an important process that now a growing network of Southern planning theorists who collaborate and discuss. I think it's important that we see this as a long theory building journey. And my advice to young practitioners is really to, and it's a bit of advice I was given back in 1990, in fact, by Professor Patsy Healy, a very good planning theorist. And she said, make yourself a 10-year plan. Think about your career, your life, and your publishing over the next 10 years. Find yourself a niche in planning theory and planning publication. Plan your publications over a 10-year period and let them build on one another, one after the other, so that over 10 years, you can put your publications together and show that you have built a long-term argument. And I thought that was amazing advice. I did what she suggested, and I think it worked very well. So there's a bit of pragmatic advice for young planners.
Excellent. Vanessa, you're an inspiration to all of us. So thank you once more for making the time, and we'll be in touch soon.
Thank you very much to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you.